Hi, welcome to a quick introduction to using the Helena web automation tool. We're going to demonstrate Helena by using it to scrape all the papers by the top 10,000 authors in computer science from Google Scholar. Our first step is going to be figuring out our starting point. Let's go ahead and actually figure out what page has the data we need. So I'm over here at the Google Scholar author search. I'm going to search for a particular label. Okay, I've now searched for all of the authors with the computer science label. This is exactly the page where we want to start. I'll bookmark it to keep it easy to access. And now the next thing I want to do is actually load up our extensions page where we see all of our extensions, because Helena is implemented as an extension and that's what we're going to want to interact with. I like to keep it easy to use by having it bookmarked here, but we can also get to it over here by going to More Tools, Extensions. And now we'll go ahead and reload the Helena extension that we actually want to interact with. We'll click on its icon over here on the right, and that has given us access to this control panel. Our control panel is directing us on how to use the tool. Specifically, it's telling us to record how we'd scrape the first row of our target dataset. In this case, we want to scrape all the papers by the top 10,000 authors, so we'll want to demonstrate how to scrape the first author and the first paper of the first author. Now, during this process, I'll actually use a keyboard shortcut to scrape items, and we'll see a preview here on the left of the first row, so everything that we've scraped so far. So we'll go ahead and start recording. All right, let's load up that URL that we already bookmarked. Let's grab some information about that first author. Now we'll just go ahead and load that up in a new tab like normal. Let's actually grab some information about the first paper, just like we discussed. All right, and at this point we have the name of the author, we have the title of the author's first paper, the number of citations, the year. So that was everything we actually wanted, everything that we wanted to have in that first row of our data set. So we'll go ahead and we'll say stop recording. At this point, Helena is loading up the pages we used during our demonstration to figure out if there are any tables for which we might want to repeat our interactions. So on this first page, you can see it's already figured out that we interacted with that first author, so maybe we want to interact with all the authors. And now it's just taken a look at that next page, and it's figured out that we want to work with not just that first paper, but all the papers. Now, if we actually didn't want to repeat our action for each of the items in these tables, we could go down here and use the "This table is not relevant" buttons, things like this. So, for instance, if we actually didn't want to use all of the papers, if we were just interested in the first paper by each of the authors, we would use this particular "This table is not relevant" button. But in this case, we actually do want to scrape all the papers for all the authors, so we'll go ahead and keep both lists. Another thing we might want to do with these lists is edit them. You can see we have this preview of the list items. If Helena didn't make the right guess, we could use the Edit This Table button, that's this one, to go back and fix the list. That's also the button we'd use if we wanted to tell Helena how to use a next button or a more button to get to the next list items after the first page. In this case, Helena actually already knows a lot about Google Scholar and it already knows all the next buttons it needs, so we don't have to do that for this task. Okay, so Helena has figured out what list we want to use, which means our script is ready to go. Let's head up here and actually go ahead and run it. All right, so it's going to load up a new window for us. It's going to actually start replaying the script right there. You can see it's clicking on that first author. At this point, we can pretty much sit back and watch it go. So we'll get a preview of the data set that it's scraping right here. You can see we've started to get the first rows. It's counting the number of rows we've gotten so far. If we actually wanted to see what it's doing, we can go over here, take a look at the tabs where it's actually operating. Here you can see it's going through the pages pretty quickly. And that's pretty much it. So that's it for this tutorial. Hope this quick intro was helpful. Good luck starting on your own Helena scripts. Thanks!